Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is Sarah, and today I'm going to answer a question that I got asked on the community tab that I have. So if you have questions about Colombia, drop me comments and I will try to get the answer, whether or not I have to look it up or whatever. But living here for almost 2 years, I can probably answer it without looking it up. So I got a question about hiking. Where in Colombia can you hike without having to worry about getting robbed? So, first of all, great question, because it is something that if you watch Colombian YouTubers, you will see them tell you don't go hiking alone, and I will tell you don't go hiking alone as well if you live in the cities. Cities are Medellin. Most of the videos that you see about Colombia, the people live in Medellin. Do not hike alone in Medellin, end of story, because you will get robbed. Go with the group. But I don't live in Medellin. I don't talk about Medellin. So where can you hike? I'm gonna just tell you right now. Medellin, Bogota, Cali, Cartagena, maybe Santa Marta. Don't hike there. Leave these cities. That's it. I mean, that's really the most basic, simple, easy answer is get out of the cities. And when you get out of the cities, you will realize that as soon as you open the front door at most of these places, you'll be surrounded by wilderness. And then you just ask where you're staying, the hotel, the hostel, or like if there's a tourism area, you can go ask them, like where is a good hike? And what a lot of people do in a lot of these small towns that I'm in, they have Maps.me. And on Maps.me, you can find hikes that other travelers have done and have marked it and will tell you how the hike was. So I'm gonna give you a few places of, first of all, where I lived for a year. I lived in San Carlos. There are a bazillion hiking trails. I went by myself all the time. I never had a problem. Even when we were with a tour, because my ex-boyfriend did guided tours, we never had problems. And then I would do that walk by myself quite frequently. I never had any problems. And then after that, you could probably still hike around. San Carlos is safe. Some places will tell you that you need a guide only because if the hike is really hard, but you'll see people doing it by themselves. So if you ever see people doing it by themselves, pretty sure that you'll be safe, because a lot of these hikes a lot of the people that are gonna rob you are sticking to the hot spots. They're sticking to Medellin where people are gonna hike by themselves. They're an easier target. You hiking alone in San Carlos, you're not gonna be the best target. However, if it's a steep mountain, you might hurt yourself or fall, but you're probably not gonna be robbed. Secondly, when I was so I'm gonna tell you the places that I have been and how easy it was to hike alone. And I don't really hike alone a lot, but I do go walking. Like, I walk everywhere, and alone usually because I'm traveling alone. So the most recent place that I was in Monguí, Colombia, which is in the Andes Mountains on the eastern side of the country. I'm gonna put you some videos, and the hosts literally said, you can hike and walk anywhere as soon as you open the front door of the hostel. And once you download Maps.me, like I said, you can pick a point on the map and say, I wanna go here, and Maps.me will take you on the direction that you wanna go. I wandered and hiked through the mountains by myself without any issues. I had no problems. People say hi to you, there'll be dogs. The biggest, most scary thing is like the dog gangs. Sometimes the worst things they have to worry about are dog gangs, but they're ganging up on each other. They don't want to bother you. I hiked to the waterfall by myself. There is something called Laguna Negra, which you can hike by yourself as well, and it's in nature. Just have your Maps.me to guide you. I hiked with another person from the hostel, completely free. And then we got to the top, there was like a group of women there, and they gave us a ride back to town because it was raining. But I also hitchhike here. Like, they'll tell you not to do that, but once you're in the countryside, you can hitchhike and take rides with people, because really the danger is in the cities and surrounding the cities, because that's the easy target. So once you are gone, no problem. So I hiked everywhere in Monguí. I was also in Huasca, and I went with other people, but I wandered around by myself, and I would have felt safe going into just wandering up a mountain, and which we did. I went with other people, but if I was alone, I still would have went because the person gave us permission to be on his property because we were looking for something and he said, no, but you can go hiking up here, no problem. We went, we were the only people there, so it was fine. And if you just ask people where to go, you're probably not gonna have any problems. Secondly, so I was in Huasca and we wandered around there. You can basically go anywhere. And then I was in Sopo. This is all like Cundinamarca area. Now then I was in Boyacá, and now I'm in Santander. So in Sopo, a little closer to Bogota, you can hike and walk up to, there's a park called, I forgot the name, Pionono Park, and you can walk all the way up to the park, and it's on a road, but you're surrounded by houses in the middle. I mean, it's like you're in the middle of nowhere. It's just a road going up to the park, and the park is the destination. It's straight uphill. I did it halfway one day, and then the second day I took a cab because I got rained out the first day. But once you're there at the top, you can go hiking in the Pionono reservation and reserve, and you pay, I think, I don't know how much it is, 6,500 pesos, but you can wander through the park, no problem. You don't need a guide or anything. And it was safe. Like I said, I was there by myself. There's a ton of other people there, mostly Colombian. So as long as you can speak a little bit of Spanish, ask segura or peligroso, you'll be fine. Because they will tell you if it's not safe. And I have not had one person, even with my camera, tell me that I'm not in a safe area. No one has said a word to me since I got here, and because I don't go to the cities. So in Sopo, you can do that. You can also walk around. There's tons of walking trails. And then if you do, I didn't go to Guatavita, but if you go to Guatavita, there is a nature preserve. And in Huasca, there's a nature preserve, which I had to pay. But the only reason I had to pay for a guide is because it is the country of Colombia has an agreement with certain areas that if you go, you have to have a guide. Not because it's dangerous. In Medellin, it's because it's dangerous. In Bogota, it's because it's dangerous. In Cali, it's because it's dangerous. I could go on, all the cities. But Manizales, no, it's not dangerous. I wandered everywhere in Manizales by myself, and that I felt super safe, even though it's a city, it's a smaller city. As well as, so yeah, basically, once you're outside of these big cities that have tons of tourism and tons of pickpocketers, open up Maps.me and decide where you want to go, and you will have no problems. Like right now, I'm looking at these mountains. I didn't go hiking here. I'm in Socorro right now, but you can also go hiking in San Gil, which is not far from me, and in Barichara. And in Barichara, there is a hike that goes from Barichara to Guarne to somewhere else. There's a third town, but there's like this big loop, and you can hike that by yourself. The last time I was in Barichara, which was like 5 years ago, I walked the Guarne path by myself. And me and another girl went and wandered around, and we were safe. And I would have done it alone, but usually you're gonna find someone who wants to go with you. So it's not that I don't want to hike alone, but someone's always willing to be like, oh, hey, I want to go, or I want to go. But if you want to go alone, like me, I wander the streets everywhere and have no issues. And if I want to go hike up a mountain, I would totally do it like I used to do in San Carlos. I would go by myself and just kind of go exploring, and I didn't have any issues. The most dangerous thing I've seen is people like, I don't know, I saw like some dude walking around naked, and I saw some dude smoking pot, but they're not gonna bother you. Like it's a different, once you leave the city, it's such a different vibe of Colombia, which is why I'm trying to encourage people to get out of the city. And yeah, because it's different. I don't know, I've been traveling by myself, and I just haven't felt that anywhere I go, I have to worry about getting robbed. Also, when you're walking and hiking, be safe, obviously. I mean, most people know that who are hikers, you know, always pay attention, who's behind you, what's going on, if you hear something weird. But I don't know, I don't really bring valuables with me anywhere I go, so my phone is like horrible, and I do bring some pesos, but yeah, I haven't had any issues, but I also don't carry valuables on me. And when I was in Medellin, we did go with tour groups because, yeah, I really just don't like Medellin. So that's a whole different story. But most bloggers and bloggers that you see live in Medellin, and they only have one perspective because a lot of them do not leave. Oh, on a side note also, Jardín or Jerico, you can go walking around there too, because I walked all over Jardín by myself. And I went up the mountain, I found waterfalls, and I had no issues. So I'm trying to think where else I've kind of gone. Minca, I've hiked alone in Minca, I've had no issues there. So yeah, literally get out of the city and you'll be fine. Hopefully that helped. But yeah, it's always good to have maps me, see where other hikers hiked. If they will usually leave notes, tell you where to go. But the biggest thing is ask the hosts, the hostel or hotel owners, and they will tell you, if it's safe also, because they don't want someone who's staying there who can write a review, oh, they sent me on a hike and it was dangerous and they didn't tell me. They will tell you. And most places do speak English if they're like having a hostel or something. But I'll drop the hostel that I stayed at in Monguí. Monguí so far is probably the best place for hiking when you walk right out the door, and the hosts speak English, French, Spanish obviously, but they were great. And most little towns like that, little mountain towns especially, you can just go wandering the streets and people might stare at you because they're not used to tourists, but if you don't mind that, they're not gonna rob you at all. They might just stare at you and be like, hi, hola. But other than that, yeah, you should be fine. But yeah, so hopefully that helped. And if you have any more questions, drop me a comment and I'll kind of tell you where I've gone, what I've done, and if I felt safe or not. And typically, I usually feel pretty safe everywhere I go, but like I said, I stay out of the big cities, mainly because I don't like big cities. There's too many people. But yeah, and because I like to do things by myself and I like to not feel that I have to watch my bag 24/7, which I'm always a little cautious, but there's never, being here compared to being in Cali, it's a totally different level of like awareness. It's like, okay, can I film with my GoPro here, or can I film with my camera here or not? In Cali, I would not even take it out. I would leave it locked in the locker. In Medellin, I don't bring it out either. So yeah, that's pretty much how it is. If you see these YouTubers who are walking around with their camera, you'll notice everyone's telling them to put it away because they're in danger. Like, I would just avoid that altogether because I don't want to be a walking target. Anyways, so as I continue going, I will keep updating on places that are good for hiking. Like, I'm guaranteeing, I'm like looking at these mountains right here, and I know that if you were wandering and going up, you would see some like farmer and you could ask to go walking and they would be like, yeah, no problem, because that's kind of what I've been doing since I've been living in Colombia for this long. And they just go, oh yeah, because really they want you to see their country because they're proud of where they were and where they came from. And a lot of them here don't, promote that danger. They don't want their town to be dangerous. Like in this town, I had like 4 people tell me, oh, this town is really safe. And it is, like, there's no issues. And the town's a little, I think in the north of Santander region, I heard it's a little bit sketch, but yeah, so we'll see. I don't know, we'll see when I get there. Anyways, hopefully that helped, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.